Okay, Representative Gidley, you want to talk about 216? Yes, sir. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Committee. This is a bill. We've already passed it through Ed Policy. We had this bill last year. This is simply placing the Ten Commandments in their historical setting inside of classrooms in Alabama schools. This would be for 5th grade through 12th. This is where these would be placed. Each would be one in the room that teaches history and one in a general location somewhere. This is a copy of what the poster would look like on the wall. Notice it has all of the historical references there that sets the Ten Commandments not in a doctrinal type thing, but in a historical educational setting as one of the foundational documents that was used to form the ideals of the founding of our country. So anyhow, that explains a little bit about the bill. Let me also say that this bill does not require any financial contribution from the school system. It's all paid for with private funds. They will not be required to place these until the private funds are acquired. And of course, there's a statement in this that says that the state does not take a stand on a religious standing. This is strictly a historical reference to remind our students of one of the documents that was one of the foundational principles of the founding of this country. And on that, I will yield and ask if anyone has any questions.
Does anyone have a question about 216? Yes, sir. Mr. Tillman.
Representative Gidley, let me ask you a question. So will this bill allow other religions, if a teacher decides to place a different set in their classroom in the historical?
Well, Mr. Tillman, that's a good question, but let me remind you that there weren't other religions that were part of the founding of our country. So that's where, and that question comes up when people say, well, what if a Muslim, or what if this, or what is that? And that's a good question. But the answer to that question is those things were not part of the foundational principles that guided this country. The Ten Commandments were.
Yes.
So they would, that's no school would have to come under any kind of a strain or any kind of legalistic thing. I say, well, if I place this, I got to place this. This is one of the documents, and we know that from what our founder said. That's why they are also included with this is included statements from our founders letting us know that this was one of the things that they followed when they created the foundation and formation of our country.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. So also the U.S. Constitution is a historical document.
Yes, sir.
So what about the Establishment Clause that creates the separation of church and state? Would that be placed next to that?
Yes, sir. It absolutely. This here is, as a matter of fact, one of the things in the bill that says these could be placed in the classroom with history right along with the Magna Carta, the U.S. Constitution, all of those documents that were part of the foundational principles of our country. Yes, sir.
I'm going to move to our payroll.
Well, we got a motion.
I have a question.
No, do you have a question?
I do.
Please, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. I find myself so often having to make this statement. I am a Christian. But how does this differ from, I guess it's been, 30 years now, when Judge Roy Moore tried to place the Ten Commandments into public settings and also schools? Because if my memory reminds me correctly, that was proven to be unconstitutional.
Well, first of all, Ms. Representative, I don't remember him trying to place the Ten Commandments in schools. I remember him trying to place them in the judicial building here in Montgomery. But we got to understand, this is nothing to do with that, nothing at all. This is simply, and remember, up until about 60 years ago, all these documents were there. The 1971 court decision is what caused us to have to remove these. That court decision was overturned with the Lemon Law. So we have the opportunity to put back what was removed. We're not putting back something for the first time. We're replacing what's been removed from our foundational principles of our nation. So, this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with replacing what has been removed, that has been now changed to a court system that said that was not constitutional, and reminding our students of who we are as America and what our foundational principles were. They're all over our courthouse. They're all, there's about 40 references to the Ten Commandments inside the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court building. So that's simply all this is. It's not trying to follow anybody else's precedent. It's trying to follow simply who we are as a nation.
You know, I still have a problem because it feels like we're continuously, especially the last 2 years, trying to force Christianity on students no matter what their religion may be. I know you said it has nothing to do with Muslims and Jehovah's Witnesses and atheists and all that, whomever, but we're still forcing one side of Christianity into the classroom. I know I don't care what I say, this is still going to get a favorable report and you're going to move on. But I do want it to be clear that I feel like once again we are invading the rights of the school system and our children. We're trying to make them be a certain level of Christians, and if they don't fit the one box Bible that I may use and that some that you all have passed out to us over the last quadrennium, you're making them study something. And I wish that we could also pay more attention to the things that we're taking out the classroom of their learning that is part of our history. You know, I'll just be frank, the Black history. We tend to find out we shouldn't discuss how the history of people that look like me came about. That's too much for the students. But it's okay to talk about forcing a right of 10 Commandments and some religious belief. Now they can pray over the intercom no matter what religion you are. And we're constantly infringing on our students. They have parents. They have family members. They have the community. They have their own type of person that speaks to them in the religion that they choose. So I personally do not agree with this, but I am a Christian, okay? I'm a Baptist, born a Baptist, still a Baptist. But I do have to speak for those in my community and throughout the state that where we are the mouthpiece to say that we do need to be more careful of the rights of others and what they practice, and also be more studious of things that we are taking out of the school system for our students to learn.
Yeah, I respect your opinion.
Any other comments or questions? We have a motion and a second to give this bill favorable report. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.